Today is July 19th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Bill's story by reading page 10. And out of the 12 and 12, we're going to continue our journey through Step 3 by reading page 37. And of course, we will be reading the daily reflections and 24 hours a day for today. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. It's just great. I woke up a little later today, but I got to wake up with my family, and it's just so wonderful to have a family in sobriety. So with that all said, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, so we're right in the middle of a conversation between Ebby Thatcher and Bill. And Bill, all of a sudden, he's almost like, oh boy, I could just imagine him eye rolling, when Ebby says he has religion. He's got this glow about him. So Bill's going to kind of ask a couple of probing questions, kind of see what this is all about. And let's see how this conversation goes. We're on page 10. He talked for hours. Childhood memories rose before me. I could almost hear the sound of the preacher's voice as I sat, on still Sundays, way over there on the hillside. There was that proffered temperance pledge that I never signed. My grandfather's good-natured contempt of some church folks and their doings. His insistence that the spheres really had their music, but his denial of the preacher's right to tell him how he must listen. His fearlessness as he spoke of these things just before he died. These recollections welled up from the past. They made me swallow hard. That wartime day in old Winchester Cathedral came back again. I'd always believed in a power greater than myself. I'd often wondered these things. I was not an atheist. Few people really are. For that means blind faith in the strange proposition that this universe originated in a cipher and aimlessly rushes nowhere. My intellectual heroes, the chemists, the astronomers, even the evolutionists suggested vast laws and forces that were at work. Despite contrary indications, I had little doubt that a mighty purpose and rhythm underlay it all. How could there be so much of precise and immutable law and no intelligence? I simply had to believe in a spirit of the universe, who knew neither time nor limitation. But that was as far as I had gone. With ministers and the world's religions, I parted right there. When they talked of a God personal to me, who was love, superhuman strength and direction, I became irritated, and my mind snapped shut against such a theory. The 12 and 12, Step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Page 37. Should his own image in the mirror be too awful to contemplate, and it usually is, he might first take a look at the results normal people are getting from self-sufficiency. Everywhere he sees people filled with anger and fear, society breaking up into warring fragments. Each fragment says to the others, "We're right and you're wrong." Every such pressure group, if it is strong enough, self-righteously imposes its will upon the rest. And everywhere, the same thing is being done on an individual basis. The sum of all this mighty effort is less peace and less brotherhood than before. The philosophy of self-sufficiency is not paying off. Plainly enough, it is a bone-crushing juggernaut whose final achievement is ruin. Therefore, we who are alcoholics can consider ourselves fortunate indeed. Each of us has had his own near-fatal encounter with a juggernaut of self-will, and has suffered enough under its weight to be willing to look for something better. So it is by circumstance, rather than by any virtue, that we have been driven to AA, have admitted defeat, have acquired the rudiments of faith, and now want to make the decision to turn our will and our lives over to a higher power. Daily Reflections, July 19th. False pride. Many of us who thought ourselves religious awoke to the limitations of this attitude. Refusing to place God first, we had deprived ourselves of his help. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 75. Many false notions operate in false pride. The need for direction to live in a decent life is satisfied by the hope experienced in the AA fellowship. Those who have walked the way for years, a day at a time, say that a God-centered life has limitless possibilities for personal growth. This being so, much hope is transmitted by the elder AAs. I thank my higher power for letting me know that he works through other people, and I thank him for our trusted servants in the fellowship who aid new members to reject their false ideals and to adopt those which lead to a life of compassion and trust. The elders in AA challenge the newcomers to come too, so that they can come to believe. I ask my higher power to help my unbelief. 24 hours a day, July 19th. AA Thought for the Day. Gossip about or criticism of personalities has no place in an AA clubroom. Every man in AA is a brother, and every woman is a sister, as long as he or she is a member of AA. We ought not to gossip about the relationships of any man or woman in the group. And if we say about another member, I think he or she is taking a few drinks on the side, it's the worst thing we can do to that person. If a woman or a man is not living up to AA principles or has a slip, it's up to him or her to stand up in a meeting and say so. If they don't do that, they are only hurting themselves. Do I talk about other members behind their backs? Meditation for the day. To God, a miracle of change in a person's life is only a natural happening, but is a natural happening operated by spiritual forces. There is no miracle in personalities too marvelous to be an everyday happening. But miracles happen only to those who are fully guided and strengthened by God. Marvelous changes in people's natures happen so simply, and yet they are free from all other agencies than the grace of God. But these miracles have been prepared for by days and months of longing for something better. They are always accompanied by a real desire to conquer self and to surrender one's life to God. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may expect miracles in the lives of people. I pray that God may use me to help people change. Okay, some great reading here. It's hard to pick one, but for the sake of time, I'll just talk about the 12 and 12 real fast. The line right here on 38. So it is by circumstance rather than by virtue that we have been driven to AA, have admitted defeat, and have acquired the rudiments of faith, and now want to make a decision to turn our will and our lives over to a higher power. I had tried quitting on my own for so long, and I could not. Is anyone else like that? Maybe I'm not the only one. So it was by circumstances. My life was completely unmanageable for me, and it was destroying relationships, and I didn't really see it until all my mistakes and failures and selfish decisions caught up with me. I tried everything else, and I didn't know what else to do, and I knew I needed help. And I had to admit defeat. And now I want, just like it says here, to make a decision to turn my will and my life over to a higher power, to change my attitude and outlook upon my higher power from before to what it is now. I have gained countless things through sobriety. I'm so grateful. And as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon or any other sect, denomination, organization. I'm just a guy. If we're given another set of 24 hours, I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.